morning, Thrivers. It's good to be here with you today. I hope that you come to Thrive to this show expecting Holy Spirit to move, to lead you, to guide you. You know, what's the verse that says, the joy of the Lord is our strength, but this is the day that the Lord has made. Yeah. It is a choice. You need to get up and go, God, what do you have for me today? What are you doing today? What can I lean into? What can you show me, teach me through the good, through the bad, through the ugly? Life's got all sorts. And if you're not ready for it all, you're not going to be able to learn from it all. So we pray that that's kind of the posture you have for today. Today I'm joined by my wife and my brother-in-law, Mr. Shimoda.
Good to be here.
Welcome.
Mr. Shimoda, that's nice.
I was going to say, that is like that's a very nice title to put up.
You're wearing a Blue Jays hat?
Yes.
Why?
Big fan. Like, I've been a fan since '85.
What do you mean, why?
Bandwagoner, or are you real?
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I always been a fan. So obviously, if you've been even remotely in tune with any sports, you know that they've made it to the World Series. So.
Totally, which is crazy because last time it was 1993.
It is pretty exciting.
Yep.
Friends of ours are trying to make it out.
I think they're getting there. I think they're actually doing it.
Well,
right?
when is Game 6 and 7?
Well, Game 3 was yesterday.
Yep.
And then tomorrow is Game 4.
They're seeing a win in their future.
Yeah,
they're trying to get to the 6 and the 7.
Which is it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome. So everybody's a bandwagoner right now, except for like everybody. I saw them win Game 7 there, which was nuts.
Yeah,
and I was in Nova Scotia. I was actually in Nova Scotia visiting. If you guys haven't seen, we've got some stuff coming up for a partnership we did for a movie that's awesome. And we're building a show on it. You guys, there's lots to come. Jeff and I did a little bit about it. That's what I was kind of teasing towards, and that's Barn Kids. But I was in Nova Scotia for that. Yeah. And it was Game 7 happening, and the bases were loaded. And
They were in Nova Scotia?
No, I was in Nova Scotia watching it.
Yeah, the Blue Jays decided to play in Nova Scotia.
Since when? I'm like,
50,000
what are
fans.
you saying?
I was watching it in my hotel room because it was bases were loaded and end of the game, and I was like, this is crazy. And then he just cranks it home and gets 3 runs, right?
Yeah, it wasn't loaded, but they were down by a run, I believe. And
there was 2 guys on base and him.
Mr. October, George Springer, if you know who that is, just is absolutely clutch in the playoffs.
Did you see that?
Oh. No.
Just clutch.
I can't even pretend. I love the fact that they're there, but I don't know much about them. So I feel like Jaden is that guy. You know those videos you see where the hotel suite is off the stadium? I feel like that's right up Jaden's alley. No. They literally have a bed, and then it walks up the stairs, and you are looking outside.
In your hotel room.
Into the stadium where the baseball game is happening.
Crazy.
And people have been posting videos like this everywhere because they're like, oh, just roll out of bed and I'm already here. And I'm just like, awesome. I just love it. I'm like, it's too cool.
It's crazy. So it's exciting. There's some good Canadian energy coming from this for once. It feels like there's been a cloud over Canada for a long time with everything going on. Like
they were last place in their division last year.
Wow.
And this year they won it. Like that's what's wild about it.
I
didn't know that.
That's
I know
crazy.
nothing about baseball. I've watched maybe 2 baseball games in my life. And I went to a Minnesota Twins game once, and that was amazing.
Yeah, it's something about being in the stadium. There's a vibe, just like anything when you're in there.
It would be so cool to be there, that's for sure.
I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I just walked in, and I was like, this is magnificent. Like, it just was like thousands. I don't know what the capacity was, but for my kid brain.
I'm guessing 40-ish.
It felt like 30 to 50,000. Like, it was just, I just remember just looking constantly, like, this just feels amazing. Yeah. It was wild.
And baseball's a chess game, man. I don't think people understand that. They think it's, just hitting the ball and whatever. There's so many little decisions throughout the entire game that need to be made in order for it to be a success. So it's, it's great.
Yeah, I don't know if I fully get it yet. Like,
I figured so.
I'm willing to learn.
I get it. They have to like plan how many runs and innings.
Let's
right?
plan runs. No, let's keep this going. Plan runs. Like, tell us more about baseball.
You guys, I'm trying here.
Guys, we got to plan runs.
You know what?
We got to plan how many runs
Talk
we can get
about
for today.
F1 and then I'm fine. Okay?
That's funny. Holy plan runs. Let's go sit Tamara down with the coach. How many runs are we planning today?
I'm kidding. I meant, well, you can't really plan home runs, but
as many as possible. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. What's the plan for the game? To win the game and get more points than the other guys.
You're now just making me sound like I just shouldn't have said anything. If I don't know enough, just don't say anything at all.
No. Anyway, gosh, but so that's what's cool is happening in Canada, and we hope that you actually maybe we can start like a sports segment with Jaden Shimoda.
I'd love it.
Like Thrive.
Feature the Oilers every day.
Oh yeah, gosh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Jaden's an Oilers fan. I don't want no Oilers updates. But maybe there'll be a Thrive morning sports update in Canada.
Thrive morning. That's funny.
We got a lot of big plans for Thrive, and I'm excited to see kind of what God's doing, where He's going with it. I think I wrestle with every single thing that we do as Miracle Channel. For those who don't know, I'm the CEO of the Miracle Channel, and God's entrusted me with that, and it's an amazing blessing, and it's wild, but it's something that I constantly do. Is I wrestle with, like, God, what do you want? What do you have in store here? And where do we need to go? And sometimes if you feel like you have dreams and ideas, and sometimes there's foolishness you feel with it. Like, is that me or is that Holy Spirit? And where do we go? And Thrive was one of those ideas that, as we started a little while ago, I remember it just being like, feeling so clear and crystal in my heart that I just wanted to connect with our Miracle Channel audience and donors more often, and then minister the word to them and get this connection. And it's been wild. We're just over 1 year into Thrive, which is crazy. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
we're like,
time flies.
We're like, I think we're over 300 shows shot. Like, if
we don't go through the weekend,
so it's not 365. But we're over like 300 episodes in, and it's just awesome. We're building momentum, we're connecting with people, and it's really, really cool. And so one of the things that we always talk about, and this is because it's a part of my heart, and it's part of our family's heart, it's part of our ministry's heart, is the devoted devotional. I remember the early days when we started this devotional. Leon was in the kitchen wrestling with the concept of, like, man, we need people to get into the Word more. How can we get people more time in the Word? And so he's like, man, what about the devoted believer or the devoted follower? And then eventually we settled on the word devoted, the devoted devotional. And so that's why something you always hear us talk about is the devoted devotional. And if you don't have it, make sure you take a moment right now. There'll be a kind of a graphic here that you can sign up on. Make sure you get it. It's for free. Donors make this happen. This is something that every once in a while we kind of we kind of go through the donors and go, hey, we're dreaming to go in this language. We're dreaming to go here. And so right now we send out, I think it's like 70,000 emails a day. Every morning, boom, the computer sends out 70,000 emails. And I think 15 or 20,000 go out to the Spanish world, and 5 or 10 go out here, and 20 to the English language, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just reaching people all over the world. They're getting the Word of God every day. And so that's for free. That's paid for by donors. There's electronic and there's paper. And again, these things aren't free, but they're paid for by donors that make it happen. And to those donors that do, thank you so much for what you do. And I pray that if you're not a donor, maybe you could join us right now for $5, $10 a month. Become a donor that is behind the Miracle Channel. You know, I had someone say to me the other day, I was actually at the men's life course. Yep. And they said to me, I told them, they said, what are you believing for? And they went around the table for each guy. Yep. I told him, I said, I need to take Miracle Channel up to the next level. Like I said, we need to find more donors, more money, more. God's put huge dreams, huge visions, and it takes a lot of money to do that. And he was like, wait, don't you guys have 6 million donors? And I went, no, we don't have 6 million donors. I was like, maybe that's a prophecy. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I was like, no, we don't. We definitely don't. And he was like, but I swear you say 6 million. I'm like, viewers. Our show goes to 6 million households. Yeah. I was like, yes. Our show, our channel broadcasts to 6 million households. But I accept that prophecy in Jesus' name, like 6 million donors, because it takes the masses to join. Like, even if, like, when what's that saying that tough work done by many? No, many hands make small work, or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's the same idea with this. It's like when all the Christians and all the believers join in at a small amount, it makes the tough, hard, big vision dream very, very bite-sized. Yeah. Where if we all give $5, $10, $20 a month, we can go out and do anything.
Imagine you had 6 million donors giving $5 a month, right?
Even at 50 cents a month. Like, it's like when those numbers come across, we can do worldwide projects. We can do things that are just vast and ordained by God that He wants done on a big scale. Of course, the Bible talks about do not despise the day of small beginnings, which of course we're not, and we're far past the small beginnings. We're in obviously like in amazing. It's amazing to see what God is doing, but the dreams are big, the visions are big, and just like I was talking about the movie at the beginning here, there's a lot of those movies. We have people reaching out to us. We actually have one of our employees flying out to go do red carpet interviews of directors and broadcasters of another Christian movie that's making waves in the United States, and we're going to get broadcast rights up here in Canada called Sarah's Oil, and it's an amazing movie when you see kind of this spirit contemporary approach to just a great message. Like it's one of the coolest things. But we're getting noticed up in Canada, and they watch our Thrive show, and they saw Thrive, and they said, we want you guys to do it. And so again, there'll be more stuff to come. But I'm saying all this to someone who's at home. Like, I don't normally go this long about this, but I feel heavy about communicating this to people who are at home. And if you're in a position where you can become a donor and you can help the Miracle Channel, I want to ask you to help us. There's some people who can do small amounts, there's some that can do large amounts. And wherever you're at on that, I want to challenge you right now to do that. I wanted to read from today's devotional, and this is the verse for today. It's a very short verse, but it's a devotional from Galatians 6, verse 5 from Pastor David's messages. And it says this, it says, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. And he goes on to talk about here, and maybe I'll read the first 2 paragraphs. It says, do you feel constantly responsible for others' decisions? If so, you'll appreciate what Jesus taught about personal responsibility in Matthew 25. He spoke of a master who returned from a long journey to see what his 3 servants had done with the money that he had provided. 2 were ambitious and doubled what the master had given them. Well, 1 buried the master's money and did nothing with it. This is the second paragraph if you're following along. Like the 2 servants, you are accountable for what the Lord is being fruitful. I'm going to back up. You are accountable to the Lord for being fruitful for his kingdom. No one else is responsible for you but yourself. I love that. Mm-hmm. Not your spouse, not your parents, or your pastor. I'm going to go and read the next paragraph too, because this is a powerful point. That might sound scary, but it's actually encouraging news. You see, when it came time for the servants to settle their accounts with their master, he didn't hold the good and faithful 2 responsible for the inaction or unfaithfulness of the 1. The master didn't chastise the 2 for not ensuring that the 3rd did his due diligence. He held each responsible for their own decision-making and actions, much to their relief of the first 2, which is so cool. And we were kind of, we were wrestling with kind of the concept. Like I'm always fascinated. We had a good friend of ours kind of fly in and come see us and talk with us and our family. And he had this thought that felt profound to me, and it might sound very simple to others, but he was just talking about like God always requires his portion, and his portion is faith. And whatever you're going through, like he gave an example. He was like, you guys had given me this nice coffee when I got here, and he was kind of holding it and goes, when me as your guest, you gave this to me, and I'm here to pour into you, but you blessed me with this. And he was kind of comparing like, that's kind of the relationship that God has with us, where he'll always be a part of this, but your portion to give God is your faith. And God requires kind of this faith response, because I find that so difficult as we go through life. I'm like, I always wish, like, why couldn't God just be like, here's the details, and here's how we're going to come through, and here's how all the inner workings of it. But he doesn't. He kind of does. It's through the small, mundane, repetitive things that faith is required, but that's almost where the magic happens. Yeah,
he was talking about the storm and everything like that, and the disciples on the boat, and they're like, freaking out because there's a storm on the water, and they're doing the work of the Lord, and he said, like, I think one of the basis of it is like, well, why is there the storm, and why is there all this there if they're doing what they're supposed to do? But he said, if there was no storm, no faith would even be required for any of this.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah,
that's cool. Because and then he said a simple sentence where he was like, stop, think about this. Jesus asked him to go across the water. So why was the water stormy? God was involved. So what? And that was all that took for me, where I was like, whoa. Jesus asked him, and there was still a storm.
Like imagine if he turned it into concrete. Imagine if he made it solid and made it, it'd be simple. There would be like, there's something about Peter just taking that step out on this rough water and into the sea, right? And putting his faith into action, right?
Yeah, it's often like that father-daughter relationship, or mother-daughter relationships, where it's like some of the best learning moments have been kind of like when your kids are like trying to learn to do school or read or ungrateful, or it's like in those moments where you're like, okay, here's a little context, here's a little reality here. And so, because it's like, I think sometimes people think God maybe brought the storm there and went there to maybe nail them with it. No, I don't think God brought the storm to try to make them afraid or fearful. I think the storm is a byproduct of just the world. It's just like, but it's the decisions that the disciples had to make in those moments to rely on God or not. Because in the moment of like the intensity of the storm is where like they had the choice. Like I even think about the perspective of the disciples watching Peter challenge Jesus saying, well, if it is you, then call me out.
Yeah.
I often think about those guys where I'm like, man, they must really feel like they missed out on one of the greatest miracles ever because they didn't have the guts to ask God.
Yeah.
Like just that. And I'm like, would I have actually asked Jesus, or would I have been actually so afraid of the huge waves and water and this like shadowy figure on the water? Would I have been focused enough to go, okay, if it is you, then bring me out?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't convinced it was Jesus yet.
Yeah. Is that you, Lord? If it's you.
You can make that decision
There's
wrong.
a guy walking towards you. Who's it going to be?
Just boom, straight down. Yeah. Peter's gone. Like, we just lost. And there's no life jackets. There's no rescue helicopter that can come and get you in the waves. But it's a wild thing because it's when I think often and maybe we'll unpack this a bit more in the next episode, but I often would think about when you look at the stories throughout the Bible, they require immense faith. I don't think we overshoot it because we see the end of the story. We know the end of the story. Like, I don't think people realize when you look at Noah, he's asked to build a boat in a drought, and they haven't had rain for years.
Yeah.
And he's still building a boat that's for water.
Yeah.
And it took him, some experts think it's like 80 to 100 years, right? To build the boat. Like 80 to 100 years.
Yeah, you got to think about the technology back in the day. Of course it's going to take that long for what they're building.
It's just so wild. So it's like, some of us, including myself, will complain about something that's happening for a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. And it's like, I can't imagine the faith it required Noah day in and day out to get up and struggle and have splinters and soreness and building and hard and trying to find materials and figure it all out.
And the persecution.
Yeah.
For
everyone,
100 years.
Everyone coming against him, right?
Sure.
And he just stood the test of time. I think I also love the other point of view of just the peace that Jesus had through that storm. You know what I mean? I also look at that side of it where I'm like, no matter what storm you face, if you are kingdom focused and if your faith is in Jesus, you should have a peace, right? As well. So I think it's just cool the lessons that you can learn through it. It's like the faith that these disciples had in him and what they had to learn to go through that. But I still love that point of view where it's like Jesus was just sleeping through the storm, right? He was just sleeping. And it's just, I think that's a cool, but beautiful way of also looking at it with just, no matter what we face, because we're always going to face things, there is a peace that we can have and an understanding with him, right? Through it all. So I think that's a really cool, also another way of looking at it. But I do love like the devotional itself, just saying we are responsible for ourselves. I feel like so many times, me included, you know, you kind of put that on someone else, or you just think like, oh, well, this, I don't know, you know, like, oh, it's not me, it's this it's just, I feel like we live in a society where there's blame always needs to be cast on somebody or something that's put you in this situation. And it's like, man, if you would just know how much further and how much more can happen in your life if you would just take it into your own hands and just walk forward and like, just do it.
The Lord has given us something. Like he gave that to Moses to build this ark. Imagine if he was like, took that and just buried it like the first person did. Nope, someone else will do that. I'm not going to do anything with it. But he took it and put it into fruition and used his faith to put that into fruition. And the Lord gives us these things. And like you said, imagine if you know, like even you, the harder than putting the Miracle Channel on your heart to jump into this. Imagine if you're like, you know what? No, someone else. It wouldn't have been the right person. I mean, God would have brought someone up to do it, but you were the right person and you listened to it.
One of the things that I feel very passionate about too is, especially when it comes to like training my children, is like, I try to strip things down as simple as I can make them. But it's like, when you think about the fact that God made you, put you here in this time for this time, like it's not an accident. He's not surprised that Jaden was born, you know, in the 2000s, and that you're living here, and he's not surprised that Jeremy is.
You say I was born in the 2000s?
Well, like that you're living in the 2000s. No, you're born. You're born in like
that's exactly what I was.
He ages very, very gracefully.
I was born in 71, and I'm Japanese, so that's how I look really good. But
my whole point is, I was like, God's not surprised, and so what that tells me is God was very, very, very intentional as the creator to need you, create you, and put you here. And so my whole point on that is like, I always try to fire up my kids and myself and anyone I'm talking with is to realize, okay, well then God put you here. So like, then just as this, take responsibility for your health, your body, your mind, what you're being stewarding. What are you stewarding? Are you endlessly scrolling, or are you reading? Are you growing? And like, even just like health is probably the biggest one, because that's where someone's calling can just be dissolved. Like, They don't. Yeah. It doesn't matter how smart your brain is. If your body's failing, it's gone. Yeah. Like it's that simple. And so it's like, find the basic small disciplines to get the most out of the body that God trusted you with, so that you can really go out and do what He needs you to do. It's like it's a really wild thing to me, and that's what speaks to me a lot. It's like I want to make sure that my long life, like there was your dad spoke to me a long time ago, and he told me because I was sick all the time. Like, do you remember how I was sick a lot? Like I would catch every cold that came by. Every time a kid came in front of me, I was sick. I'd catch everything all the time. And I remember being so frustrated one time because he came to just pray over me. I was really sick one time, and he was praying over me. And then he just told me, he's like, someday you're going to conquer this, and you're going to be giving testimonies of healing and miracles, and you're going to lay hands on people. So he was kind of prophesying to me and encouraging me. And I remember just thinking, if I don't get over this, I can't do anything that God's called me to do. And I feel like that's sometimes the greatest battlefield is the health and sickness of believers. Yeah. That we have to get healthy, we have to get strong, which is essentially what some people, just as this devotional is talking about today, they're burying their health. You know, they're just kind of going, well, we'll be, and it's not my cross to bear. Whereas there's some people who are active, who are working out, who are eating right, who are disciplined decisions and choices, which is the stewardship of what they're responsible for. And it's not just health. That's just the thing that speaks to me, is that I just truly believe that if we are healthy and strong, we can do more for God.
Your body's a temple.
For sure. For sure. You mentioned, what's that movie, The Ninja Kid?
The Karate Kid.
Ninja Kid.
But that Karate Kid. Karate Kid, you were kind of giving the example about like how he felt so silly about the little mundane things.
He came to Mr. Miyagi, if you've seen the show, to get training because he was this legendary karate master or whatever. And Mr. Miyagi's like making him do all these things around the dojo,
wax on, wax off, right?
Paint my fence. He's making him do this up and down, wax on the car, and then you wax off.
And not just once, like
over
thousands
and over
of reps.
and over. And he's doing this thing for days and weeks on end. And then finally he gets so frustrated and he's like, why am I doing these things? Why am I doing these things? And then Mr. Miyagi, like, I don't know, does some sort of karate move at him, and the kid immediately does one of the motions that blocks it with what he's doing. And it wasn't about cleaning the car or doing the thing. It was about the repetition and getting the discipline of the move over and over and over again.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, from our perspective, we often think, God, why is God not using me here? And it's like,
get the discipline. Be disciplined.
Yeah, get the discipline. You're in the training ground right now. And to whom much is given, much is required. And he who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. Yeah. It's like when you look at how long Moses was trained up in Egypt, 40 years of training before finally God used him. When you look at David was anointed king as a farm boy, as a pasture shepherd. And so you can imagine that must have almost been haunting him the whole time. Yeah. When am I going to be king? When am I going to be king? It doesn't look like I'm going to be king. I'm being chased by a king right now who's trying to kill me. Yeah. It's like all of it was training ground, and he took it that way. And so the leaders who
never wavered.
But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, it makes me wonder how many callings on people that God had that just withered into nothing because they missed it. Yeah. God's waiting for it.
Yeah. But I think like you said, there's also this point of saying, like, you just need to be like, what's that one thing that Dad would say? You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yes. Oh, yes. And I love that, because it's true. Like, it's in your hands. Yeah. Like it's never too late. Do you know what I mean? If you're choosing today, right now, like, okay, I want to make a change, you can make a change. You can change the trajectory of your life. If you're sick or whatever it is you're facing, you're going through, and it's just been hard, and you're tired and you don't want to keep moving. It's like, no, be sick and tired of that mentality and just get yourself up and move forward and just see what God can still do with you. He is always wanting to work through you, work with you. It's never too late. So I just think in that way, I love that, because like we all face, the world can come at you with all these things, and there are times where you're just feeling low and oh my gosh, like what are we doing here? And it's silly how the enemy can he tries to entrap you with those thoughts, right? And I think it's one thing to have that thought once, and if you can just nip it and just be like, nope, I'm not allowing these thoughts to continue, because it's when you continue to have that thought pattern, that bad thought pattern. I was listening to this one message, I think with Bill Johnson, and he was just saying that's where the enemy hides. That's the stronghold.
For sure.
When the thoughts keep coming and you can't get yourself out of the thoughts. We all have bad thoughts. We all have bad times. We all have, and by bad, you know what I mean by bad. I'm not going down that road, but I'm just saying the struggle of it. And if you can just hit that thought and go, nope, okay, yes, I've thought, but it's done. Let's move on and let's know where we're going right now with the focus of Jesus and God on our minds. But don't allow the enemy to build this stronghold in you where you get stuck in that sick and tired feeling and knowing that you can't keep going.
I did a message like 10 days ago to the men, and that was where a lot of it came from. Where I was like, Mal, what do I say to men? Like, where do we start? I was like, I had all these thoughts and ideas, but I was like, I need to go back to like the beginning spot of where it should start with men. And I decided to preach on that morning that felt heavy on my heart was victimhood. And if victimhood is present in not only just men, in life, in Christians of any kind, if you believe you're a victim of circumstances, and there's probably a lot of logical reasons as to maybe why you are. That's not what I'm saying. I'm challenging believers to go, I might be a victim of this situation, but I'm not a victim. Like, I'm not a victim. That's why the Bible is always saying you're more than a conqueror. You're above and not beneath. You're the head and not the tail. Like, it's just trying to reinstill in you to go, you're on top. You're God's kid. And if you can see that, you can finally start to be the person who takes responsibility and builds and grows and stewards and walks in health and healing and all that. I wanted to pray, but I'm going to pray on the next show. I don't have enough time to pray today right now, but I pray that does bless you guys, that you guys can take this and go, okay, today is the day I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to go forward. I challenge you, take the devotional today and go, God, I want to use this today. Pray for someone, help someone, and let them take the power of God and put it to work in their life. We pray that you guys have an amazing day. We'll see you same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
Thrive.